What is going on, guys? Miles here, back again with another video, and today I'm going to be discussing whether specialist weapons or abilities should make a return in Infinite Warfare. Now, note this is going to be a little different video than usual. I'm just going to be discussing my thoughts and saying whether I think specialist weapons or abilities should return in Infinite Warfare, but let's jump straight into it. So we first saw specialists in this year's Call of Duty, which was Black Ops 3, and they were introduced for a number of reasons, but the main two reasons I could think of were for fun, which obviously they are pretty fun to use, not gonna lie, and for the second reason was to improve the competitive skill gap in Call of Duty, because you have these specialists, there's a number of them, you pick one at the start of the game, you can't change it, and you'll get them once or twice throughout the game, and you have to decide when to use it, and you have to time it correctly, and if you do time it correctly, it will benefit you, but if you don't time it correctly, it will not help you at all. So there was that sort of skill gap introduced by specialists, which I think was a good thing. So with specialists, there are 9 weapons and 9 abilities. Now, I think the 9 weapons are not a good feature in the game, honestly. They are pretty fun to use, not gonna lie, but for the reference, you got gravity spikes, you got the Tempest, the Annihilator, the Scythe, the Purifier, and what's it called, the Hive. They're all specialist weapons, and I do not think that they were beneficial to competitive Call of Duty. That's just my opinion though. I know you could argue a point that they were beneficial, but in my opinion, they weren't really beneficial at all. I didn't think like you used them skillfully. I just thought you pulled out your specialist weapon whenever you want, and you would just wreck anyone. And honestly, in Call of Duty competitive, if you watch the COD World League, you don't actually see many people use specialist weapons at all. I know they do have some like agreement where they agree not to use certain specialists, like rejack and stuff, but honestly you never really see them use competitive specialist weapons in the COD World League. Maybe like the Scythe in Hardpoint, but other than that you rarely see it, which I think goes to show like the specialist weapons do not improve the skill gap in Black Ops 3, and I think they're a little bit random and they can be really frustrating to die by, even in public matches. Like if you see some guy getting the war machine, he can just wreck you up, and that can be so infuriating. It's like unreal, because you can be on a super high kill streak and then someone who's much worse than you can get this war machine just because you get them once or twice a game, no matter how good you are really, and they can just wreck you with it, and that can ruin your kill streak, and it can be super frustrating. So I'm not a huge fan of the specialist weapons, but I do think specialist abilities are actually beneficial for the Call of Duty competitive scene, as well as the public matches scene even. So for the abilities, we have things like Overdrive, Active Camo, Rejack even, which I wouldn't think is good, and also like Psychosis and stuff like that. I think they're really good because they actually have a skill element to them, a much bigger skill element than the specialist weapons, which you just sort of pull out and wreck everyone in your sights. So you have all those abilities, like I said. The one I would say is not beneficial is Rejack, because obviously that's sort of like last stand, which is just not good at all for the game in my opinion, and I think Rejack should be removed, but I would like to see the return of the abilities such as Psychosis, Active Camo, Heatwave, stuff like that. I think they're really good, honestly, and they do have a big skill gap to them. But I do think the whole mechanics of the specialists can be improved, like, because the way they currently work is like the specialist bar goes up no matter how well you perform. Obviously if you get kills and stuff, the bar fills faster, but even if you get no kills at all, the bar will still fill up and you'll eventually be able to use your specialist. Now, some people thought that the specialist like weapons and abilities would be good ideas for kill streaks, which is actually a pretty decent idea in my opinion, but that would flood the kill streaks and there would be a ton of kill streaks, and obviously you can only use 3 kill streaks at a time, so that would be a bit of an issue. Maybe they'd have to change it to like 5 kill streaks, but I mean the specialists weapons, like the specialist weapons as kill streaks, I would not mind that at all. I think that's actually a pretty good idea, but I don't think specialist weapons should be available to everyone who just like plays the game and stuff like that, because they are pretty overpowered. Now, one thing that I think could be improved about specialists in general is the way you earn them. So I think if you die, the specialist like meter thing should go down a little bit, like, because that just, I don't know, I think that would just improve the skill gap to them, and I think that would reward like the good players who play well and the bad players who play bad. I think by like degrading the meter if you die, I think that would be beneficial, honestly, for the competitive scene and the just public matches scene, because like you'll die a lot less times than noobs who like have just earned their war machine, who have 0 kills, and they're just gonna like noob tube you to death. That will happen a lot less frequently if when you die the meter drains a little bit. So there were my thoughts on specialists in Black Ops 3, and overall I think they should be added to Infinite Warfare, but only the specialist abilities, and I think the specialist weapons should be added in the form of kill streaks, similarly to Black Ops 2. Black Ops 2 had like the death machine as a kill streak, as well as like a rocket launcher. That's a pretty good idea in my opinion, and I think that should return to Infinite Warfare. But overall, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Be sure to subscribe for more Black Ops 3 and Infinite Warfare videos, and I'll see you guys in my next video.